Following the touchdown, here's Anderson to kick it away. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. The AFC offense heading back out. You know, Charles, Coach really loved to utilize his tight ends in the passing game. You think about Dave Casper, Hall of Famer for those great Raider teams. And I think he saw a lot of Dave Casper in an all-Madden staple, Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez is the type of tight end I think everyone's looking for. He's a guy that can make some big plays from that tight end position. Let me tell you, you better make sure you have him accounted for on every play.
And that's exactly right, because Dave Casper, he could shred defenses down the middle of the field. And that's exactly what Tony Gonzalez did in his entire career. A 14-time Pro Bowl selection. Only Tom Brady has more. There's 6 guys in the 15,000-yard receiving club. He's the only tight end in there. Tony Gonzalez, every snap he had to know where he was, because he could make plays short, medium, and long, and often put the ball in the end zone.
On first down, Brady. And he'll find Hall. And he's got this down a yard or two shy of the 40 before he's out of bounds. Call it a gain of 6 on the play, and it's second down. Brady. That's going to be caught downfield by Reed. Touchdown!
Damn it.
Andre Reed in the final seconds of the first half. And the AFC is an extra point away from tying this game up. Vinatieri able to tack on the PAT. And that is going to tie our game as we approach halftime. This one tied at 14 now as he sends this one away. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. And only 6 seconds on the clock, so time likely for just one play. He's going to launch this thing way downfield. And that will be incomplete. Coming up in the second half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a very special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by Trey Mosley.
What comes to mind when you hear the name Madden? Is it the coach who led the Raiders to their first Super Bowl victory? Perhaps it's the broadcaster who entertained millions of fans. Or maybe it's the video game known simply by his name. But no matter what comes to mind when you hear the name Madden, everyone thinks of one thing. Football.
The core of it was football. It's the greatest game in the world. The left goes to right, the right goes to left.
In my mind, John Madden is the most important figure in the history of professional football. Show me somebody else who did it on 3 levels the way John did it. There's nobody.
We now proceed to the start of the second half. Boy, Charles, that is really well done. Coach was something else, wasn't he?
I'm reminded what Al Davis said when he was inducted coach of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Brandon. He loved the game. He loved his team. He loved the Raiders. He loved this league. And you can see it with everything he does.
No doubt. But it's quite possible, though, that now he would say, hey, enough of that. Let's play some football. The second half forthcoming from Oakland. They begin the drive on the ground with Allen. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. They stay on the ground with Allen. And he'll take this up to the 30, a gain of 4. So 3rd and 5, defensively expecting pass. They've got 6 DBs out there. Now a play fake. Brady. He's got a man. Andre Reed complete. And he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. On play action, it's Brady. That's complete to the fullback, Ricard. Calling a gain of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. So now, Charles, to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42. He had just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 19. Trying for Brown, and it's intercepted. And this one will be returned to right around the 38-yard line. So the ball changing hands on the interception, but meanwhile here we do have an injury on the play. While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. They'll run with Sanders up the middle. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up. So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went on and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together, Pat Summerall, short, concise, to the point, and turned it over to Coach Madden to fill in all the big details.
Well, how about that? A dime set on defense, 6 defensive backs. None of them blitz. They're just back there in coverage. Defensive lineman gets the sack.
That's where the O-line, they go to the sideline, they keep their helmets on so the cameras can't find them, right?
Yeah, the cameras can't find them, but I know one thing. The O-line coach will.
Online, but off the crossbar, no good. A long-range effort denied 3 points at the very end. All things considered, a pretty good kick, just cruel punishment there to be denied by the crossbar.
If you're going to hit from that distance, sometimes you're going to need a little luck, and unfortunately for him, this time the break goes against him.
The AFC offense set to take their next drive. And nowhere to run on the interior of that defensive line. He'll get back only to the line of scrimmage. Three quarters have come and gone at the Coliseum in Oakland. All tied between the AFC. Back now here on EA Sports. All square, 14 apiece to score as we get ready for the 4th quarter. Here's Brady. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you're talking about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him, and now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving, when you use words like boom and pow. He helped create the old Madden team. He's a very popular commercial pitch man. And even the Madden cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too.
Now a carry for Allen. And he'll get about 3 as he's brought down to the 28. From here, it would be a 45-yard field goal attempt, certainly in range, but they'll look for more yardage on 3rd down. Now Brady. Quick slant to Brown. And he will not make it to that imaginary yellow line as they get into the ground at about the 23. So now one of the biggest kicks of the night is forthcoming. This for the lead in the final stages. Vinatieri's kick is good, and they take a 17-14 lead. So he waited on the sideline for his first chance in the ballgame, and it didn't come until the 4th quarter, but he connects there. A big one to give him the lead.
Boy, you talk about coming in cold. I don't care how many times you kick it into a net. You're not really ready when you go out there and all that beef is coming at you trying to block the kick. Big spot, and he delivers.
Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. We have seen a lot of points here in this quarter. For us up here in the booth, it's been fun to watch. The defensive coordinators probably scratching their heads.
Yeah, they're going a little bit crazy right now, but let's face it, all of our friends who play fantasy, they're enjoying the heck out of this show because most of them are creating and getting a bunch of points.
Yeah, points certainly not at a premium here. So it's the NFC with the football as we welcome you back. They come up on a 1st and 10, desperately needing a score here on what could be their final drive. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Now Favre. And oh, that one nearly intercepted. That would have sealed it. Instead, it'll be 2nd down. They'll look to throw. That'll be caught by Rice. Now, CD, we did get a little ahead of ourselves talking about John Madden, the broadcaster in the 90s and 2000s, because there was another product during that time period that he became quite famous for, and it's something that you and I know a little bit about, and that's the video game that bears his name. Originally John Madden Football when it was first released back in the late 1980s, and now known the world over simply as Madden.
And Coach saw this originally as a way to teach the game of football. The early designs were for a 7-on-7 game, but he said no chance. He would not sign off on it. He wanted to be as realistic as possible. He told him, call me when it's 11-11, and he got his wish.
Yeah, after that debut, Madden, the video game, continued to pick up steam through the 90s in a big way, and John himself, many will remember, was a commentator for the series for many years. And now here we are in the 2020s, and this game has sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 million copies. On 4th down, they'll try and run for it. And he's got the 1st down yardage before he's brought down at the 42. So, CD, you look at the accumulation of John Madden's achievements in the world of football, the coaching success, the Super Bowl title, the incredible career as a broadcaster with 12 Emmy Awards, Madden, the video game. It was very fitting back in 2006 that John Madden got the call to be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A more deserving person.
That was not who I wanted to throw it to.
He gave an incredible speech on that day, Brandon. Several of his former Raider players were in attendance. He talked about how he envisioned that when the last person turns off the lights in the hall every night, that the bus talk football amongst themselves. And what a discussion that might be.
Yeah, he finished his speech by saying, today feels like the second time in my life that I'm being carried off on the shoulders of others. Yet instead of off the field, it's into the Hall of Fame. This has been the sweetest ride of them all.
That's that Moss.
Partner, they've got one chance left to keep this one going, and I think for you and me, let's think along with their offensive coordinator now. Has to think back, cycle through every play of this contest, and remember what's worked and what hasn't. Because right here, he needs the best play of the game in order to keep this one alive.
They're going on fourth down. It's Favre. Completes it to the tight end, Kittle. And yes, sir, that's going to be enough. The NFC tests their luck, and they get the conversion on fourth down. They keep the game alive, at least for the moment, as it's a first down. Back to throw. Again to the big tight end, George Kittle. And he'll be marked down at about the 26-yard line. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling.
And he's going to be taken down back around the 35-yard line. And with just inside of 10 seconds to go, they'll burn their final timeout. 9 seconds left. Not an easy spot here. We'll be in search of 13 yards to try to pick up the first. And they're out of timeouts, remember, so this is going to have to be a delay.
Delay of game.
So they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit.
Still third down.
After the delay, they're backed up even further for third and long. He's back to throw. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And that is dropped. Oh, my goodness. That could have been a game changer, but he could not hang on. And a timeout comes in. The whistle's blown with 3 seconds remaining. So on fourth down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. With 3 seconds to go, if it's good, we're off to overtime. And now the half, not quite over yet. This is a live football on a miss. And he will be taken down before that return gathers. So it's a horrible for the AFC on an incredible afternoon of football. And remembering the light.
Time to decide how you're going to become coach once again and captain a team of legends and stars. Feeling a little rusty? Head on over to the main menu. Head back to the brightest lights of them all and take the field in Super Bowl 56. Become coach once again and captain a team of legends and stars to victory in the John